Ek gesels nou met Martin Sanne, Uitvoerende Bestuurder van die WNNR en dit gaan oor 'n nuwe ventilator wat hulle ontwerp het vir COVID-19 pasiënte. Good morning, Martin.
Good morning, and morning to your listeners.
Thanks for your time so early. I just want to find out, let's start at the beginning. I mean, it's chaos at the moment. I think we're all worried and we all realize how important ventilators are. And I think worldwide, you could just see China sending ventilators to America and America sending ventilators to us. It was just kind of chaos. And now, on local ground, a local ventilator that you guys developed that can be used nationwide. So exactly what did you guys do?
So what we did is, obviously, as you mentioned, the availability of ventilators has been a problem over the last months. And this was already quite apparent in around about March, April timeframe. So we decided to embark on a development together with the National Ventilator Program, which is running under the DTIC. And the first thing was to reduce the requirements, or deduce and reduce. So find out what is really needed and then define a very simple specification of a ventilator that will serve the purpose of the disease. And the disease is generally that one develops breathing issues and one needs additional oxygen. And so to do that, ventilation has been used. In the past, they generally went for invasive ventilation, which has proven not to be such a good idea for the COVID-19. So we defined a very simple ventilator, which is a CPAP, continuous positive air pressure device, which provides oxygen through a mask to the patient. So it's non-invasive, much more comfortable for the patient, can be used very early on in the disease development. So when the patient is feeling breathless, has breathing problems, one applies this ventilator. And it helps much better than an invasive one because the patient is mobile, can sit up in bed, can lie on his or her side. So all round, much better solution.
If you have to sum it up in terms of where the device lies between just getting oxygen and on the heavy-duty ventilators, is it something that's like in the middle and it can also be used outside of hospital?
So it's on that scale that you mentioned, it is on the simplest side. So it's a very simple, very robust device that can be used outside of hospitals as well. Obviously, the requirement would be the supply of oxygen. So one would need gas bottles with oxygen to run the device. But it is aimed at field hospitals, for example, and not only in the clinical scenario.
So, Martin, on a total different topic, I think people are so, they don't trust government. People are, any money, they say if there's money going around, money gets lost. But you guys work with private sector, with government, and I mean, something like this shows you that there's some good stuff happening as well. I know you worked with Siemens that came on board, Samira, Gabler, Moya, and the University of the UCT. But just tell us more about your relationship between private and government, and that there's really things happening.
So as CSR, we've been doing what we do best. So we're scientists and engineers, and we have long-standing and strong links into industry. So we work with industry partners, and our aim is always to enable industry at the end of the day. So we will do a lot of the work ourselves, but we will always involve an industry partner. We will work with regulatory authorities. We will help develop standards. One of the important parts right at the beginning of the project was to decide on the standard to be adhered to. So we looked at the WHO, World Health Organization standards for ventilators, and one had to study that and understand it and understand the implications. So that's where we help. And then we are able to design products. And at that point, we involve industry. We always want to be cutting edge and leading edge. So for example, the relationship with Siemens and Samira was around digital processes, software. So the product has been designed in end-to-end digital format, so we can introduce it easily into a factory. So it's I would say 4IR compatible, Fourth Industrial Revolution compatible.
And then the distribution of this ventilator, is that through the state, or can people buy it? What's the plan from here on?
Okay, so initially the ventilator project has been funded by a Solidarity Fund through the DTIC, and the initial batches of ventilators will be donated. So the funding is coming from Solidarity Fund. The aim is to roll out the ventilators into state hospitals, clinics, and field hospitals. And then in future, they will be available. So private companies, small private clinics, so to speak, can approach us to get quantities, but these would then obviously need to be paid for. So we're still working on a pricing format, but I can say that the device is a lot cheaper than anything one can import.
And then just as a last question, you're also working on a bi-level positive airway pressure ventilator. That's a solution for patients with more severe symptoms. Is that just a more heavy-duty equipment?
Yes, so it's a little bit more sophisticated, if I can call it that. It has a number of modes of operation, where the ventilator that we're rolling out now has one mode of operation, which puts light pressure air into a mask. The BiPAP will actually start sensing how the patient is breathing and reduce pressure when the patient is breathing out. And it's not a simple one-way type of device. So it's a little bit more sophisticated, but similarly simple and robust.
Martin, thank you so much for your time. And it's always great to know what's happening out there. I mean, I'm sitting here making TV and you guys are saving lives. So we appreciate what you guys are doing.
Thank you very much. And I wanted to just say a word of thanks to the team that put this together, from the engineers, scientists, doctors, nurses, lawyers, procurement specialists, the Sarau team that has helped do the original specification and has been running the project, the DTIC, and above all, Solidarity Fund.
Fantastic. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
Cheers, Martin. Dit was Martin Sanne, uitvoerende bestuurder van die WNNR. En dit is net so 'n bietjie riem onder die hart om te weet daar gebeur nog goeders daar buite. Soos ek sê, mense maak 'n bietjie TV en jy entertain, kan jy 'n bietjie beter laat voel of jy 'n bietjie laat giggel, maar hierdie mense maak goed wat lewens red.